Christmas, that magical time of year when folks gather around a warm fire with loved ones and watch Santa Claus kill people. Out of all the holidays, Christmas always seems to get the most horror movies. Whether it's classics like Black Christmas, horror comedies like Santa's Sleigh, or anything you see in December on the Hallmark Channel. Please, not another Christmas movie with Candace Cameron Bure. The horror. Most Christmas horror movies revolve around someone going crazy at that time of year. However, the 2010 fantasy horror film Rare Exports wanted to do something a little different. While it's not the first movie to feature an evil Santa Claus, it is the first to have Santa exported as a commodity. Finnish brothers Jalmari and Juuso Hallander came up with the idea in the early 2000s. They wanted to make a feature-length film, but couldn't afford to make it on their own. As a way to get the attention of potential investors, they filmed and released an 8-minute short film, Rare Exports Incorporated, in 2003. They ran it at various short film festivals, and it gained a very positive buzz. They recognized the importance of getting the word out on the internet, but this being 2003, 2 years before YouTube, there weren't as many sites that could handle video traffic. The short did so well, they were able to produce a follow-up, Rare Exports, The Official Safety Instructions, in 2005. This time the short showed what to do and what not to do around Santa Claus.
If you really want to make Father Christmas furious, try cursing and heavy drinking. Perkele!
Again, they played the short at festivals, but this time, with the advent of YouTube, it gained even more attention online. With the cult following, the film started to draw the interest of investors. Still, it was such an odd concept, they had a hard time explaining it to potential backers. The brothers commissioned beautiful paintings of the environments in the film as a way to show investors more of their vision. In 2007, the brothers met with the president of Cinet Films, and they picked up the rights to turn the concept into a full feature. They brought in some other production companies, as well as the Finnish Film Foundation, to put together a roughly $2 million budget. The movie was written as a prequel to the shorts, to explain what led the trappers into hunting Santa. The movie was about an excavation team that was digging up an imprisoned Santa. Now, this wasn't the jolly old elf that we were accustomed to, but a gigantic horned demon that would have no problem killing you if you disobeyed any of the rules. Santa was trapped in a block of ice and encased under a mountain for hundreds of years. When the excavation team discovered him, it awoke hundreds of his elves that had been hibernating, waiting for his return.
They're protecting their master.
The elves stole heaters, ovens, and anything that could generate heat from the local villages to help thaw out Santa. A group of reindeer hunters blow up Santa and trap the elves. Lost and confused without their master, the hunters cleaned up and trained the elves to be Santas, and they shipped them all over the world as Rare Exports. The short showed how they continued to hunt and trap the Santas every year for the Christmas season. While the movie has horror elements, it also has a great deal of dark humor. It even has a few tongue-in-cheek moments, like showing the warehouse where Santa was being kept is number 24. The beauty of the movie, and why it works so well, is that they play the whole thing straight, no matter how ridiculous the concept is. They never wink at the camera or intentionally play things for laughs. If they did, it would ruin the tension they were building up, and it would make the audience realize how silly it was. They shot the film in 17 days in Norway. They used a mix of practical effects and CGI. They want the film to look as good as possible, so they spent over 200 days in post-production, tweaking every little aspect. The visual effects were done by a company called Fake Graphics Ltd., and they did an impressive job. The hundreds of elves running through the snow was CGI. The barn explosion was real, but enhanced with CGI. The elves in the cage were all composited via green screen. I'm guessing it was done either so the actors wouldn't freeze, or so Petery wouldn't have to stand around dozens of old naked men. The helicopter was sometimes real, and other times it was CGI. After the long post period, they got the movie ready for the film festival circuit. The movie premiered in 2010 at the Festival del Film Locarno in Locarno, Switzerland. It played on one of the biggest outdoor screens in the world. The audience loved it, and it was picked up for worldwide distribution. On December 3rd, 2010, it opened in the US in one theater. It generated enough buzz that eventually they bumped it up to 21 theaters. Because of this, it made only a little over $200,000 in its US run. Thankfully, it did much better elsewhere and pulled in over $4 million worldwide, although $3 million of that was from Finland, the home of the filmmakers and of the original Santa Claus. This movie's a brilliant spin on the mythos of Santa Claus. They took a beloved entity and gave it a completely unexpected backstory. Also, by making Santa a commodity, it poked fun at how every aspect of Christmas has become about commercialization. Even old St. Nick, It's not as scary as some other Christmas horror movies, but it has a foreboding atmosphere that permeates the majority of the film. There are even times where it's downright uncomfortable. How else should you feel when you find out that all the naughty children in town have been gathered up for Santa to eat when he wakes up out of his prison? This movie is a new holiday classic. Much like Gremlins and Christmas Evil, it's another carefully executed anti-Christmas Christmas movie. It's beautifully shot, and just looking at some of the outdoor locations makes me cold. Put some pants on, it's freezing! Also, the fully orchestrated soundtrack fits the film perfectly. For such a small budget, the CGI is impressive. You could tell they put a ton of work into it, because there were plenty of shots where I didn't know they were CGI. For $2 million, this movie looks way more expensive, especially when you consider that this had the same budget as Sharknado. The movie was released on Blu-ray in 2011, and for good measure, they included the notoriously awful/wonderful Christmas movie, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. I love this terrible movie. So on Christmas Eve, don't drink, don't smoke, don't make any loud noises, and absolutely do not swear.
This is funny shit.
Watch your mouth!
You wouldn't want to piss off this guy, would you?
Through an intensive training of manners and language skills, the product is prepared to meet the needs of millions of children.